The air in the bedroom was thick with the acrid scent of burnt tallow and the smell of death. Shadows flickered on the walls, cast by the sputtering light of an oil lamp. The anatomist lay on a deathbed, his frame wasted, his breath shallow. His once proud face, framed by thinning grey hair, now bore the hollowed lines of age and illness. Around him, a handful of apprentices sat in uneasy silence, scribbling notes or sipping whisky to steady their nerves. They whispered of his contributions to science, the lectures, the experiments, the bold advances that had brought him both acclaim and infamy. One young man, red-faced with drink, chuckled about the old man's nerves as his memory returned to the table where so many had suffered in silence as the pain and agony surpassed their ability to express their suffering. But the anatomist's focus was elsewhere. His sunken eyes were fixed on the floor, where a small dog sat, a Skye Terrier, a breed known for its loyalty and distinctive long, etched yet flowing coat, spectral yet solid. Its grey-etched hair shimmered like smoke, and its gaze, dark and piercing, seemed to bore into his very soul. It hadn't been there before, he was certain, and yet there it was, silent and still. None of his apprentices seemed to notice. They laughed, talked, and poured another round of whisky. But the dog, or is it a living statue, remained unyielding, its presence growing heavier with each passing moment. The anatomist tried to avert his gaze, but his eyes were drawn back, as though the dog's alive but not alive stare commanded him.
Doctor, do you require anything? You seem troubled.
The anatomist opened his mouth, but no words came. His lips quivered, his throat dry as the weight of the dog's gaze pressed upon him. Memories began to surface, unbidden and sharp. An anatomy table, the sharp scent of disinfectant, the echo of restrained howls, the defiance in his own voice as he dismissed accusations of cruelty, his laughter at the pleas of activists who dared challenge his work. A faint grinding sound reached his ears. The dog's metallic bronze head tilted, just slightly. No one else reacted, but to him it was deafening. His pulse quickened, a thin sheen of sweat breaking across his brow. The apprentices whispered among themselves, oblivious to the spectral presence dominating the room.
Then the voice came, low and unrelenting, yet full of terrible clarity. You knew, and yet you still carried on. No empathy, no thought to what you did, to how long we suffered. But now you will know every second of it. The room seemed to darken, the flickering lamplight struggling against an oppressive shadow. Behind the dog, the air thickened and parted, revealing a terrible sight. Rows upon rows of silent figures, dogs, cats, rabbits, and countless other creatures, stood motionless, their eyes fixed on him. Their gazes burned into his soul, their pain etched into every inch of their spectral forms. Look behind me. See the room with every one of your victims. You always knew. How could you not? From your own soul I see the truth. The anatomist tried to rise, to turn away, but his body betrayed him. His limbs felt leaden, his breath shallow. His tears flowed freely, streaking his gaunt cheeks as the weight of their stares crushed him. The dog moved, but didn't move, though it was closer, its unblinking gaze now inches from his face. The grinding sound grew louder, like nails dragged across stone. His apprentices continued their idle chatter, oblivious to the judgment unfolding before them. You have admitted everything. You have judged yourself. I am the Retributionist. Your retribution is now. The room plunged into silence. The dog did not move, but the anatomist's body arched, his breath leaving him in a shuddering gasp. The weight of the truth crushed him, and the spectral dog's unblinking eyes were the last thing his mortal vision beheld. As the apprentices finally noticed the stillness of their master, a figure stepped out from the shadows. He was unremarkable, an ordinary man in plain clothes, the kind you might pass in the street without a second glance. He glanced at the lifeless body on the bed, his expression unreadable, and then walked to the door. Without a sound, he left the room, vanishing, a wisp of smoke in a soft breeze, as the door closes behind him, leaving no trace of his presence, except the cold that lingered in its wake. Who was the man who left the room unnoticed, his steps unremarkable, his form forgettable? He is no one you would remember, and yet he is unforgettable to those who see him at their end. He is the Retributionist, a harbinger of justice, sent by a power unknown even to himself. To the living, he is invisible. To the dying, he is inescapable. He comes not to punish, but to deliver the truth, to hold a mirror to the soul and let it confront the weight of its deeds. The Anatomist, like all the others, judged himself. The Retributionist simply watched. But who is he? What is he? These questions linger like the cold he leaves behind. Is he a former man, burdened with a penance for sins too great to remember? A being from another realm, sent to balance the scales? Or is he something far older, a force beyond time and morality? Even he does not know. Yet he carries on, bearing the torment of those he judges and the faint gnawing dread of what lies buried in his own forgotten past. His story is not one of redemption or condemnation, it is one of inevitability. His task is to tear the soul from the body in the eternity between life and death, for the Retributionist knows that once he also faced judgment, and when that day came he was not the one to leave the room. Now he is denied that memory. What did he do? He is made to suffer every pain and terror inflicted by those facing retribution, just as those being judged by their own memories suffer. His role is also one of suffering, but even though he remembers every single retribution, for now, he is denied remembrance of his actions, or even his name.